Welcome. Become an advanced meditator understanding the virtual reality matrix. So I'm going to go over a lot of things here. I don't want you to understand anything, if that makes sense. I want you just to build a mindset on how to experience the matrix. It's like a thinking mindset of like how I see life, how I experience life. So virtual reality, why we say this? It's like in the movie Ready Player One. We are more and more about to create a virtual reality metaverse where like we're going to be experiencing everything like we are experiencing now in the physical reality, because this physical reality is exactly like putting a headset on and not being aware of all the potential of the universe. Our five senses only give us the experience of 0.1% of the universe. The 99.9% is just needs to come from an understanding of feeling through the heart and then kind of like seeing through the third eye intuition. In the movie Matrix, there's messages everywhere, but most people they misunderstand them. So the architect is the king archetype, the divine masculine that create the matrix, which create with like order, structure, sacred geometry, mathematics, and he knows all the different timelines. And then the oracle is the divine feminine. It's like the a channeler, highly intuitive. She knows so well the architect. She knows what he's gonna do before. She knows the future, and then those two, it's a dance of like give and take all the time, right? To create this reality of duality, matrix mean matter and means also the womb. So we are entering the matrix when we go out of the womb, right? So everything that we experience is the matrix. And the only way to get out of the matrix is to ascend, is to enlighten, uh, or out of body experiences like astral projection. But that's like next level meditation. You need to overcome all your fears and fear of death, right? In the movie Matrix, there's this scene where there's the pods, right? In outside of the matrix where like everyone is plugged in. This is an analogy for the soul that is back in the astral that is still like the soul is whole, and then when it comes on earth, it's giving one part, right? Where we have a dominant energy when we arrive, right? We all have that dominant energy. And then the enlightenment process is to start regaining and then becoming whole here by embodying all the different facets of life, embodying all the archetypes, all the colors, all the way of thinking. There's messages everywhere in all the movies on the process of ascension, which is linked to the seven chakra, embodying the feminine and masculine, and then having the Kundalini rising, exploding into the 1000 petal lotus flower, right? So there's white snow and the seven dwarf. The seven dwarf or the seven chakra. White snow, it's like the enlightenment process, and then it's like when she goes and she tried the different beds, and then at the end she only go in the seventh bed. It's like it's all different hidden keys. When the seven dwarf, they go try to dig for a diamond. The diamond can be seen as the third eye, but also can be seen as the pink heart diamond. Pinocchio, the name Pinocchio means pineal gland. Each time he lies, he has his nose that is growing. He has like a little cricket in his heart that is giving him wisdom. There's little hidden messages everywhere. In all the Marvel's movie, this is eternal. Each of those are linked to a chakra. This is the inner child. This is the shadow self. So just analyze, see life everywhere you go from that perspective, understanding the game of the chakras and the kundalini, the feminine and masculine, the ascension process, and you'll start having little clues and integrate more of your puzzle. What we need to, there's a language into the universe, right? So the main language that makes sense for our mind is the archetypes. So there's the 12 zodiac sign. There's also the 12 personality trait from um I forgot his name, Carl Jung, and then there's also the tarot cards that are all different archetypes. We can set an archetype for each of the chakra, right? So we have the king archetype, we have the third eye, the magician, the throat. I'm not sure, you can decide for yourself. The heart is the lover. The um, solar plexus is the warrior. The sacral is like the ballerine, the mermaid, the dancer. The root is divine feminine is the mother, right? Mother earth. And then more that we understand those archetypes, more that we have clues on different traits that we need to embody, right? Because um, there's a lot of distortion in astrology, for example, because like people get stuck with like, okay, my sign. But eventually when we reach full enlightenment, we embody all the archetypes, all the signs, all the 12 personalities, right? And then another language is music. Like if we use the piano, the chromatic scale, right? That Drum Valo explained this in the Ancient Secret of the Flower of Life. And then we can associate this to the eight chakras. And then there's a half step here between the solar plexus and the heart. There's a change of polarity between the heart and the throat. There's a half step there between the crown and the soul chakra. And then this is the pathway here that goes inside of the body. So there's a half step is a wall. It's like a blockage of resistance, right? And that resistance, that's the heart wall that we need to break to start opening the heart, right? All those trap emotion of betrayal, heartache, all those things. There's the void here that is at the thymus gland, which is the pink uncontrolled love higher heart chakra. I'm going to talk more about this. There's a half step there behind the third eye, which allow us to really blossom the 1000 lotus flower. And he teach the techniques here. I'm not going to tell you about it. I'm still digging into all this, but just try to experience and understand music. You understand more and more of yourself in the universe. This is another chart that explains the same thing, but it puts it on the 13 chakra system. So we have the 8th chakra system, which creates like the smaller octave here in the solar system. And then we have the 13 that create the bigger octave that is linked to the galaxy, right? So we can ascend in this solar system. And then when we finish, there's a new universe inside of this solar system. And then eventually when we ascend the 13, we move into like the realms of the galaxies, where there's another game that is very hard to understand. Even Ra in the Contact of Ra explained that they don't know what's after the 8th, after the octave. So everything is linked to colors, right? So the root is linked to the first density, and then we go down, and then we finish the octave, as I just said, right? We talked about this in other courses. So we need to understand our chakra. We need to understand the game of colors. It's also linked to the evolution of the soul, right? So most of the soul here, they come to integrate the yellow, the solar plexus, right? And more they are transitioning into the green, which is the heart, which is the fourth density, which is a new earth of positive only, right? There's going to be a dark planet that's going to be the duality of the positive planet that we are creating. And then the green, it's going to be love and understanding, tapping into the one heart, communicating through telepathy. We're going to have other type of mind power. And then there's the blue souls, the most of the wanderer, the spiritual teachers. And then the ascended masters, the purple, right? Because then slowly they are ready to finish the octave. The spectrum of light, right? There's the white light that's split into the rainbow, right? So the white light is God, and then it's split to start creating different variant of itself, different fragrance of love, to start creating this different experience of realities, dimension, densities, that they are all at the foundation fractals of energies. But at the foundation, we need to understand the dance of color, as I said. So if we use the primary colors, and then here is the additive, we see the merge, the oneness, right? The white. And then the subtractive, we see the merge, it's a dark side. If we check the primary color and secondary color here, so we have the primary color inside, secondary outside, we can see what are the opposite. And what does that mean for our chakra system with our energy, right? So we have the secondary orange, opposite is the blue. So what is the relationship, right? The feminine sacral with the masculine throat, right? We can see also the yellow with the purple. So the masculine solar plexus with the feminine intuition. What is the relationship between the two? Like, start asking yourself questions like that. Explore the game of colors, the game of the chromatic scale of music, the game of the archetypes. And that's how you're going to receive messages in your meditation all the time, exploring, researching. What does that mean? Googling uh, spiritual meaning of, right? Why does certain fruits and vegetable are orange, right? What's the relationship with the sacral? Why some are green? What's the relationship with the heart? Why the sky is blue? What's the relationship with the throat? Why the sun is yellow? What's the relationship with the solar plexus? Why the blood is red? What's the relationship with the root, right? It's questions like that we need to ask yourself. The pink uncontrolled love. Why is it pink uncontrolled love? Why the princess archetype is pink? And it's all different frequency. It's the way that the light bounce on matter, right? And then all those colors, the red one is the slowest, right? The slowest frequency, the more dense, the heaviest. And then as we go up, it start vibrating faster. But a frequency is not a line like that, right? It's a sacred geometry pattern. And then we go in the crown, and then we go in the white, and the white is a straight line. The straight line is the singularity, the oneness. So frequency looks like that. The when we create the patterns, step by step, the current pattern in our chakra, it looks exactly like this. So this is the root, and you see there's a lot of space in between. And as we go higher, there's less and less space. There's more and more complex pattern being created. And then we have the 432 that is very popular in the, how do you explain this? In terms of music to tap into. I'm not sure the 432 is linked to what. Um, there's the 528. This is a solar plexus, and then we have the heart that can be seen like that. That looks like a flower, a beautiful flower, but it can be seen also, which is the point at the middle is a representation of the singularity point, and then the circle is a representation of the of the physical world. So we have the depth of the duality, and then we have the depth of oneness together. So that's the whole of the whole universe. There's this is the throat, right? And then we have the third eye, and then we have the crown. It become more and more and more complex. Each of the elements has their own sacred geometry form, right? So we have earth, water, air, fire, and then this is ether. And all of them combined, they start creating the flower of life. The flower of life, we see it like that on 2D, but in 3D, it is the cross of the tourist field. That's the flower of life. It's the grid all around. And then everything as a tourist field. Therefore, everything as a grid. Therefore, Mother Earth has its own grid that match the feminine, the masculine, the red and the blue. And then here in Egypt, it's the first point of the unity grid where we have the masculine, and then on the other side, apparently it's linked to Machu Picchu or in that area that represent the feminine aspect of the grid. The sun in the astrology, the sign is this, right? It's the point of unity, of oneness with the circle of the material world together, expressing all the creation. Because the sun is the ultimate archetype for enlightenment. It is a sub logo, we say, of the central sun. As the sun has its own evolution pattern, and then the color of the sun start changing. Eventually, like the oldest sun, they become white, like Sirius B. It's one of the oldest sun. It is white, white, white. So the central sun is like white, and then it is bursting flame, right? That's why we say, okay, I'm gonna find my twin flame. It's come from this energy. It's each time there's a soul coming out of the central sun, it's like the central sun is bursting a flame, and it's creating like a smaller ball, a smaller sun, and then out of that there's another flame coming out. And then out of that, those are all clusters of soul. And then to become our soul we are now, there's a last cluster before that. So the last cluster before that, in this last soul family, we have our soulmates, our twin flame. The singularity point looks like that, looks like a black hole that is splashing a ring. And then this is exactly the shape of the UFO spaceship, which is exactly the shape of the zero gravity um, Merkaba spinning, right? Which allowed the soul to fly and travel everywhere. At the middle of each torus field, there is this black hole. And then through this black hole, there's a blast, right? There's the Big Bang moving out that creates another universe within the universe. So, and then in this black hole is total nothingness. It's just black. There's total silence, and that's where we go find our peace, right? There's different black hole in each chakra. There's a black hole in each cell. There's a black hole, but there's the ultimate black hole of our energy field, which is the higher heart chakra, right? The higher heart chakra is the pink uncontrolled love. It's a diamond that size right there in the thymus gland. And then as we are cleaning our energy field, cleaning out the chakra more and more, we are removing this. Like for me now, like this section here is very, very painful. I feel I have a wall there. It's like a big blockage, and it's been there for like a year or two. And I've been like moving it out, moving it out. And then more that I open it, more that I start having vision of that beautiful pink diamond. And then behind this, there's the wall, the infinite void, the ultimate void, right? Because there's different level of void. So the Matrix, right? In the movie, we see different codes like that, but ultimately, it's different sacred geometry diamonds that are all in strings of energies, and then they all reflect on each other, and they start creating those. They're not like spheres; they're more like torus field, but they are like very like shiny, like this, almost like silver bright, because they're all bouncing on uh, each other's light, with reflecting on each other's. If we take a ripple and we drop it in the water, Joe Spencer explained this, and then we take that frame, right? We freeze it, and then this is the frame here. It is frozen, and we send a laser. We're gonna have on the other side of that frame the exact petal, the exact stone that were thrown in the water, showing that the whole physical reality is an hologram of the central sun shooting his light through a sacred geometry pattern that is creating us. So you can see in 2D shape the flower of life in front of you, and in your flower of life, your unique sacred geometry pattern, there's all your personalities, all your beauty, positive light, and all your darkness, shadow, trauma. So what we need to do is we need to start cleaning that grid. That grid is not exactly in front of you. It's just a way to perceive it. It's the cross of your torus field, right? So we need to become inspectors and then find clues, because everything in the matrix needs to be given. It's part of the law of free will. That's why they put all those messages in the movies, right? But most of those movies, they come from Hollywood, which is the dark side. But they cannot really lie to us, because it would infringe the law of free will. So that's why they hid messages everywhere in all the movies. And then we are the the white rabbit going down the rabbit hole of exploration. But we need to do this in balance, because if we just dig and dig and dig and dig, we're not really experiencing this physical reality anymore. So we need to experience the physical reality and then at the same time dig the universe. So if we are doing too much of the physical reality, then we're going to get lost. If we do too much of the astral etheric world, we're going to get lost. It needs to be a balance of both, right? Living our life with our family, having hobbies, dancing, and so on. And that's why I'm wearing my bunny shirt. So slowly, we are inspectors and we're finding what we need to find. It's keys, it's codes of understanding the rhythm of color with sound, right? In the ancient Egypt, they were calling them netters, but nowadays we call them grid workers. So a grid worker is someone that is aware of all the grid, all the quantum field uh, web net that is all interconnecting everything with codes, different patterns, and then it is creating its own pattern to shape reality, like in Doctor Strange, right? That's what they do. All those spells, all those form that they shoot out of their hand, they're all sacred geometry pattern. They're codes that shape the physical reality to create faster, which allow us to be a faster manifester, right? And through this, we can start doing whatever we want. We can start materializing something falling from the sky. We can start creating portals to teleport ourselves. We can start levitating. We can start doing anything is possible. Anything is possible because this physical reality is all an illusion. And that's it. And that's it. So, uh, 20 minutes. My offer to you is to be an inspector. Always bring awareness because there's clues happening all the time, right? To build your puzzle, to understand the different patterns, the different codes, and then eventually create your own codes to change your reality. Thank you so much for watching.